This is maximum. Or any other brand.
So now I could see you today. So how is your research going? Huh? So your grade is.
Yeah, right now we shifted to his room. So I am free as of now. Sunday also.
Oh, you are live. Oh, I know that. But I am not put on this. Green is green means it is. So officially it starts at 10. In another couple of minutes. So whatever discussion happens before is unofficial. Anyway, we can settle for the class now. 2 more minutes. Huh? So when did the classes begin for IIT this semester? 28th July. Oh. So the first years might not have yet known about the VSc program. Huh? 50.
Yeah, so today I really hope that many people will come.
Okay.
Don't know. I'm feeling like disappointed right now. So many people joined. They have asked me to be like PSC volunteer and all. Many people have emailed us, and this is the result.
No, 10 o'clock, na, they will come. 10 o'clock Indian Standard Time. And that too Sunday, Indian Sunday Standard Time. Maybe the first talk should have been kind of a popular talk. That would have attracted. Huh? There is a saying, a Tamil poet is a saint also, he says that I opened the shop, but there are no one to, no customers. Huh? I opened the shop, but I don't find any customers, he says. But in his shop, things were given for free, of course. He says that. So let's settle for a brief time. Sit relaxed, straight, back chest. Take deep breaths, 3-4 times. Feel the lethargy going away. Imagine a big pool of lake in front of you, tranquil, peaceful. The gentle waves are the thoughts. Allow the waves to flow and don't pursue. Imagine a lotus in the middle of the lake, fully bloomed, on which is seated your chosen deity. The deity is full of joy, full of knowledge, full of strength. You salute him and wake up. He touches your forehead. He transfers his knowledge to you. He transfers his strength to you. He transfers his joy to you. You are full of joy, energy, enthusiasm, positivity. You once again salute the compassionate deity and feel one with him. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharini. So this is the winter session, correct? This is the autumn session, correct? First class, beginning the 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In the previous classes, we hurriedly went through the 10th, 11th and the 12th, which described Sri Krishna in personal glory. Sri Krishna was objectified and identified one with the nature. Specifically in the 10th chapter, called Vibhuti Yoga, his many manifested qualities and the best and the highest of those qualities, the supreme qualities, the most charming ones, the most strong ones, the most persistent ones, they were all identified with Sri Krishna. He himself, he identifies himself with all of them. So he is the best in the creed, among the creed. And in the 11th chapter again, he shows his extra cosmic form and impresses upon Arjuna that the warring context, the context of war where he is presently has to deliver his duty, that is a very small context compared to the extra and the super cosmic context which Sri Krishna pervades. So his all-pervasiveness was meant to help Arjuna and feel strong and feel pacified. Because of why that was necessary? That was because Arjuna was trying to shirk off his duty, coming under the filial affections. So in order to pull him out of that family setting, which was inhibiting his ability and freedom to perform his duty. So this gives us a good idea that whenever we encounter a problem, oftentimes we may have to shift the focus, or what we call the frame of reference, and take an entirely relook or a review of the problem conditions. So which Sri Krishna did in the chapters 10, 11 and 12. And looks like Arjuna must have got his message clear. Sri Krishna now, he opens up another dimension of his extra cosmic form, and also supplies to Arjuna the right understanding. What is required is a person must be ready to work, agreed, must have the motivation, must have the enthusiasm, must have a clear purpose. Second thing is, he must have the obedience, that he must know that he has a duty to deliver, certainly, but he is obligated to deliver that. And in the last few chapters, we found that obligation coming in. The first few chapters, we saw how important the work is and how important it is to deliver the work, to be engaged in the work in a manner that is most fruitful. And then comes, particularly in the verse somewhere in 40, if I remember, in the 11th chapter, he says that the war you are trying to fight, which you think that you are engaged in, that particular war, my dear Arjuna, its fate is already taken care. Why that particular message had to be given to Arjuna was because that when we engage in our field of labor, oftentimes we forget that we are also working in a context. We cannot supersede the context. Quite often we see that people, in the manner they are engaged in the work, they often forget the limitations, they often forget the domain in which they are not supposed to enter. So they may violate the boundaries when it comes to work. So Sri Krishna now puts in a perspective by drawing the entire game of war out of the context and shows him the bigger picture, saying that thou must engage in action, in work, but not out of your personal agenda. There's no personal agenda in this particular work. For the simple reason, Mayaivaite nigatav purvameva, he says. Nigatav purvameva means in the war, usually victory comes by the other man's defeat. And the defeat is literally physical. The guys will have to die. Otherwise, there is no defeat. It's a physical war. So he says, that kind of a defeat I have already worked out. Mayaivaite nigatav purvameva nimitta matram bhava. So he says, you become the witness to all these. Nimitta means nimitta karana. And don't own the doership, don't own the phala, don't be the upadana karana. If you are a upadana karana, then you take all the beatings. If you are an instrumental cause, instrument takes all the beating, So if you are an instrumental cause, you will take the beating. But so you be an efficient cause, and thereby you will have the freedom to not be affected by the labor that you put forth. So that is a wonderful out of context reply. But how to settle the idea? He settles the idea by saying that Maye Vete Nihata Purvam. I already decided the consequence of this. So why do you worry about it? Why do you get so much attached? So that was a wonderful idea. So then Sri Krishna graduates to the next, what is called as viewpoint. So first karma, then the knowledge that will regulate the karma, and then finally comes the true purpose and the true destination of the karma itself. So that he brings out in this 13th chapter. It's called Kshetra and Kshetrajna Vibhaga. Vibhaga means the differentiation or the distinction. The field is called Kshetra, and Kshetrajna is the knower of the field. The word Kshetra itself has 4 different connotations. Kshatatranate, Kshayate, Ksharanate, Kshetradvatva, Kshetravatva, Karma Phala Nishpattehe. That last one, Karma Phala Nishpattehe, is attached to Kshetravat. So 4 different. The body and the mind is now being given a name, Kshetram. Why the word Kshetram? Because it is Kshatatra. Kshata means to get affected. So this body is continuously getting affected and inflicted by the environment, by the nature, by bhutas. Bhutas means your elements. So tra means to protect. So this body is something which needs to be protected. Since body is something which needs to be protected from the external causing ailments, this is called Kshetra. Sanskrit is a beautiful language where it justifies itself why it gives such a name, which other languages don't have. A cat will be called a cat. It will be the same even if you call it rat. But here the words are self-explainable. Why that particular word is used. Some of the words, since they are interesting, Acharya Shankara gives the description. Most of the words are very regular words and very simple words, so he doesn't give the various connotations. But the important words, he himself gives the connotation. So, Kshayate. Kshaya means that which undergoes decay. Because a body undergoes you may say growth, but the growth is towards decay. Because it undergoes a decay, for that reason also it is called Kshetra. And the Kshara here means, the Kshara also means Kshara and Akshara. These are 2 words. No. Kshara means, again, it petrifies. The petrification. It disintegrates. That is Kshara. Akshara is Brahman. Brahman will never disintegrate. It's always one. So, since the body disintegrates, it is also called Kshetra. And the nice thing about Kshetravatva, the Karma Phala Nishpattehe, that is another wonderful connotation. That is, this body that we have got is such an instrument. If you put it to good use, it will give you good results. Just as a farmer is able to get good produce by using the agricultural land wisely. He can destroy it, but at the same time, if he is wise enough, then he can get good produce out of the land. So, kshetravatva karma phala nishpattehe. The body becomes an instrument for whom. Let us ask this question, because when you identify yourself with the body, then you will say the body is the doer, the body is not the instrument at all. If there is an instrument, there is some person who is operating the instrument. So, kshetravadva karma phala nishpatti. That's a fantastic idea which Acharya Shankara gives us. That is about the kshetra. And the kshetra jna, whenever you put the word jna, that means you get the meaning of knower. Knower comes from the word as a suffix jna, jnanam. So, the person who has the jnanam is called jna. For instance, if you see sarvajna. Sarvajna means a person who knows everything. Karmajna is the person who knows about work. Or a very famous jna, if you want to know, which is very commonly used. Anything that you guys are aware of? Abhijna is naming. That's true, but it's not very common. Anyway, so if you put the ja at the end, you will get the appropriate, the knower of whatever is being addressed there. And who is the Kshetrajna? The Kshetrajna is, Sri Krishna identifies that Kshetrajna is the person who knows the Kshetra, and he says, Krishna says, that knower is me. Welcome. That knower of the Kshetra is me. This particular knowledge, it is very, you may come forward if that doesn't. So, yeah. So the entire chapter discusses about these things. The following subsequent verses, it is going to enumerate this, namely the elements, the ego, the intellect. What is the role? Suppose you say Kshetra and Kshetrajna, body, mind, and the knower. Then how do we understand that which contributes to this complex called body? So the body itself is made up of several elements. It has got inhering components. So do they have any separate entity or representation? So on and so forth. We'll come to that. See, this particular idea of Kshetra, Kshetrajna is not intuitive, It is not all intuitive. Suppose, no, there is nothing to suppose here. It's very evident. In our day-to-day experience, do I ever feel that there is somebody within me? We don't feel it. Certainly not. I don't feel. There is the whole body, the entire being, a conglomeration, is considered as a single entity. I am aware, I am awake, I am doing things, and then it's all about I. And I is associated with the body, mind, intellect as a complex. We don't separate them as this is body, but the mind is different. I see the mind differently, or the mind is able to see the body differently, or the mind in one particular state is able to take a very objective view of this entire body. And so just as the way I am operating the laptop, frankly speaking, I have never had that experience in my day-to-day working. It's only speculation which is guided by lot of ideas that we have got from the scriptures and other things. But if you leave the books aside, if you leave all the teachings that we have gone through, or everything you will say, only look at your own experience, we will find that 99.99999% of the people will actually be surprised to know that there is another person different from us, different from what we think we are. That's the reason why this is very, very non-intuitive. And this non-intuitive learning has to come only from, it comes as an advice, it comes as in the form of scripture. It is no amount of rationality can actually make us arrive at this knowledge, even as a hypothesis. Experience is a far cry. Even as a hypothesis, we will never be able to put forth the idea. Only place which gives us a hint is the deep sleep state. When we go to sleep and then come back, what was the person before, what is the person after, and what happened to the person in the middle? What this particular knowledge, actually this particular state of no knowledge about our own self. 6 hours goes away, or maybe 3 hours goes away, and then we are unable to answer the question what we were during that time. And yet we existed. Existence cannot happen without knowledge. How? Sat, Chit, Jnana. Sat, Chit and Ananda. They are actually concentric? No. They are one and the same. Concentric means they are different but having something common. So they are one and the same. So whenever there is an existence, knowledge is there. The locus of the knowledge is same as that of the existence. You cannot have it differently. You cannot have it. It is logically untenable to have this idea of existence and knowledge happening in different medium. So, and yet we existed. How do you know we existed? Otherwise I wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be here. That also is coming because of what is called as inference. It is the same person who went to sleep yesterday, and it is the same person who wake up from the bed. So when you establish this relationship in the past of no knowledge, and then again knowledge, when you connect them, we say that there must have been another person. There must have been another person who had the knowledge of that existence, but that existence is different from the existence that we are talking of. If the existence of both were to be identical, then after waking up, I would have had the knowledge of that existence. When I say that I slept nicely, when I say I slept nicely, that slept nicely you are able to say in context of I, but that you are unable to ascertain at the time of sleep. Only after sleep you are saying. So who slept? If this I would have slept, if I itself would have slept, then in the I there would not have been knowledge. If sleep is a state of no knowledge, then I would not have had the knowledge. Then I comes out and say, how can it say I slept well? It cannot say that. So the very fact that we say we are able to make this English statement, even this is not conclusive enough. This experience is also not conclusive enough for us to say that there is a person separate from the body and mind, but it gives us a very good hint for us to speculate, for us to hypothesize that there is there is a state of consciousness which is very different from that which is contained within this corporeal being, the body, mind, intellect complex. So that particular person, which is different from this corporeal conglomeration, is Kshetrajna. Sri Krishna says that is Kshetrajna. When you call this conglomeration as a Kshetra, and it is going through, we may be, however, how much ever we may be identified with it, but know for sure, if you are really looking for your identity definition, then that should not be confused with the body-mind conglomeration. It is different. And what is that different thing? He says it is me. Sri Krishna, he says, the Krishna which has been portrayed and which has been exaltedly portrayed in the earlier chapters, he says it is that Krishna which is now dwelling in you. Krishna, he is a supreme person here. It is not a name is given and it could be understood in any way we want. So he says that it is me as a supreme spirit, and the revelation that we are supposed to have here is we have got a rich inheritance now. The Kshetrajna, if the Kshetrajna is the one who is knowing the body mind complex, and that naturally has to be associated with me, and now that he says, Sri Krishna says it's me, that means he is a supreme Purusha, he is the Brahman, Sachidananda. He is a Sachidananda Purusha in the name of Krishna, he is dwelling within me. So that is a royal and a very rich inheritance. Rich inheritance from the point of view of me identifying with the body. See, there is nothing to feel great about your bank account having 10 crores. Because it is your bank account. And if you have 10 crores, there is nothing great about it because you know that you have it, and then you can spend the way you want, you can use it the way you want, invest the way you want. So that which is not yours and you are getting it, then that will give you surprise. There is no surprise in me knowing about what I have. It will just be a revelation. Oh, I was not aware of it, now I am having it. But it's really a surprise if something which doesn't belong to me is I am being made to know about it. That will be something, that will be a surprise. So here it is a surprise as if, because we have never known that kind of a knowledge, that we can dissociate from this body-mind conglomeration and have an entirely different identification. And that identification is of a divine origin. And Sri Krishna is proposing that. How is it divine origin? Because it is me who is now sitting in you as a knower. Sri Krishna has exalted himself in the portrayal and says that this exalted portrayal is not divorced from this creation. He is not divorced from any of the individuals, not from any of the jiva, but it is what is called as it is within the jiva itself, within the kshetra itself. So kshetrajnam cha mam. Mam means me. Vidhi, no for sure. The kshetrajna is me only. Sarva kshetresu. Not a single being is exempted from this. See, this is totally democratic existence. Money may be high and low. Status may be high and low. Health may be weak and strong. But it is the same Lord who is present in everyone. It's a great saving knowledge, because in fact Sri Krishna at one place he says it's very easy to attain me than my Aishwarya. What are the Aishwarya? Of course, this name, fame and whatever, all these dualities. It may be very difficult to attain them, but it is easy to attain me. Why? What could be the reason he says that it's easy to attain me than my Aishwarya? Easy to attain me because for the simple reason he has already given himself to us. It's not that we have to find him out. He is already there within us. And It just requires from our end the conviction, a state of doubtlessness, which we call it saying faith. By that particular faculty, we can know his existence within us. Faith is a very, very strong force. Without faith, man cannot exist, How much ever intellect you are, without faith, you simply cannot exist. Faith is the very foundation of our existence. But quite often, what happens is that faith often is misplaced. So Sri Krishna says, do a course correction and put the faith on the right track. So what is the right track? That you have to have faith in your own divine origin. Why one should undermine one's own existence? A rich man's son cannot be poor. There is no meaning in it. There is no rhyme or reason why he should consider himself poor. So, be happy and be enlightened about the divine inheritance, and all of us are equally enjoying. When Lord Buddha, after he left the hearth and home in search of truth, he got it in his own fashion and he spread it in his own fashion. I think Vaishali, this place, Vaishali, I think. Lumbini. So he possibly came there again. He returned. Buddha returned to Lumbini, and then his wife greeted him. And then Rahul is his son. So I don't remember his wife's name. She tells Rahul to go to Buddha asking for his inheritance. So Rahul goes there. He was a small boy. He says, where is my inheritance? You are my father. What have you left for me? Okay? You are asking for inheritance? Then he tells Ananda, take him, shave his head. My inheritance, Shave, because he is a monk. So he says, a monk can only give monkhood as a shave the hair. But that's what actually his wife wanted. So the inheritance from a spiritual man will be the spiritual knowledge. So he says, okay, you want my inheritance? Take him into the retinue. And his mother again comes. How is it that you have ignored us completely in your path? You cannot ignore us.
I also have this question.
So then what he said, okay, we will start the women's wing of monastery. So, your question is answered in a different way. So he started the women's wing in the monastery. Like not a women's wing, actually he included the women also in the monastery. And then Buddha also said that now that I have permitted the women to come into the monastery, he said that it is going to have a far-reaching impact. It may reduce the life of the monastery mission by 500 years. Buddha says that. No, the reason is very simple. Buddha, because he had to, Lord Buddha, he had to oblige with the conditions prevailing those times, where the women did not have an existence independent of men. That was a difficult time, very, very difficult time. The difficulty only intensified as days advanced, and it has taken a change these days. Now the women are very independent, which was not the case earlier. So what happened? So they cannot found a monastery of their own, which is now happening. We have women's monastery, nunneries, we do have now, but those days it was unthinkable. So Buddha said the only way women could be accommodated in a monastery is to join with the men. So it's like having fire and cotton nearby. So he said that as long as I am there, he didn't say it very clearly, but it's very obvious that as long as he was there, he knows how to keep their minds at a very exalted level. But when the mind trickles down to the body level, it is bound to commit mischiefs, thereby commit irrevocable errors, which is unbecoming of a monastic hold. Now, why we are saying this? Inheritance. It all stem forth from inheritance. So the inheritance that we are talking of is not something that needs to be given in the future. We already have it. Krishna says it's me and I'm there within you. It's a beautiful idea. Kshetra, then he says, Kshetra gyayor jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. And then he says, so even though me, the dweller in your in every jiva, both Kshetra and Kshetrajna, we should acquire the knowledge of both. So people, how spirituality, when it is tweaked, when it is not read in the proper light, how it gives us wrong ideas. The right book giving wrong ideas. See, if you read a book, we should not read 1 or 2 pages in that book. We should read cover to cover. Because the book has a purpose, and the purpose is now very well laid down. And if you want to understand, naturally we need to read the full. Otherwise, don't read the book. There's no point in just flipping through the pages and then copying one certain idea and then taking that to be the wholesome truth. Likewise, the Upanishads, for instance, have been very discreetly read here and there, and people have come to the conclusion that Vedanta is for those people who have lost interest in the world. Upanishads are meant for people who have no other business with the world, who have no other commitment with the world. It's only, so who are such guys? Retired chaps. They are the ones who possibly qualify on a dictionary terminology, because they can say that they have passed the baton to the younger generation and now they are free from responsibilities and commitment. So they may casually go through whatever text. See, reading Upanishads, people may come to such an opinion. But here Sri Krishna says, gives the same knowledge to the man who is fighting war. Who can be more busy than a warrior in the warfield? His alertness is 360 degrees alertness. So, and when Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Yadahareva virajet, tadahareva pravrajet. It's a wonderful statement. It says, the day you get renunciation, the very day you should leave the hearth and the home and the society and then just go away. This world doesn't belong to you. You are now a vairagi, a sannyasi, a tyagi. The Upanishad extols him. It gives him a very high position that you have understood the purpose of this life. It is not to be wasted away in the hands of the nature. Just give it up. I'm not forcing you to do it. Upanishad seems to be saying, you already got that idea now. Yada ahareva virajit. Virajit means you feel like, no, yeah, this whole thing is a mess. Yeah, I mean, this is not the truth. I am trying to find the lost key in a wrong place. So I need to search it properly. So Upanishads gives us the freedom to give up the world and then abstract yourself and then do a deep down search and try to discover yourself. Upanishads give that path. But that's not the only path. It's not the only path. Here Sri Krishna says, Kshetra and Kshetrajnayo. Both. He says you should know both. Scripture never says run away from the society. Never says give up your responsibilities. Never says don't ever feel committed to the world. Never ever. It only says that do it with finesse, do it with perfection. Krishna in the earlier chapter also we have seen, right? In the 4th chapter or 3rd chapter somewhere he says, Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. What is yoga? The state of yoga. Yoga is highly appreciated by Sri Krishna. He says that everyone should now aspire to become a yogi. It's not yogi bhavarjuna. He says, become a yogi. So what is the state of the yogi? A person who does the work kushalata. Kushalata means he does it befittingly. He's not the man who runs away from work. So here Sri Krishna gives us this message, which is so practical. The moment we know that we are strong, we will never ever give ourselves to the notion of weakness. Never ever. That's when you lead a life in which every moment you feel positive energy, positive enthusiasm. Not once you will ever feel regretful. In fact, Swami Vivekananda at one place he says, do not regret, because it is he meant to say that you are lowering yourself. By coming into the state of regret, you are lowering yourself. He says, don't regret. But that doesn't mean you keep committing error and then don't regret your errors. When he says don't regret, it's a package. It means that don't commit errors. That is also included in the package. So he says, is there a way in which we can lead absolutely zero regret-free life? That means you should always feel positive about it. Feeling positive means you know that you are going in the right direction. Kanchipuram to Delhi train is not getting halted in the middle or not getting hijacked on the way. You are eventually going to reach Delhi. And every moment you are inching towards Delhi. That is positivity. Can we be really sure that our journey is really inching towards the destination? We cannot be sure. Most of us are not sure because we don't even know what the destination is. That's one huge lacunae in our understanding. Sri Krishna tries to correct that understanding here. He says that your destination is to know the thing which you have not known. That what you have not known is the me who is sitting within you. So know him first. Sri Ramakrishna also used to say that you see, the world which appears to be so sorrowful, so troublesome, so difficult to negotiate, Sri Ramakrishna says, all of it will become easy the moment you know the creator of the world. As if knowing him is easy. But see, whether it is easy or difficult, do you think to getting into IIT is easy for people? Getting into Indian Institute of Science is easy for people? Getting into Tata Institute of Fundamental Research is easy for people? Getting into defense is easy for people? Nothing is easy. None of this is easy. Each one of them are highly difficult, very complicated. And one has to put a lot of effort, concentrated effort. Positive, positive, positive. You should never retrace back. Because they are highly demanding. So, when an objective is kept, reachability coupled with doability. It's not reachable at all, there's no point in talking about it. The dark side of the Mars. We might have sent a dead metal there. But as a human being, I have no relevance to that. Certainly, I'm not going to go there. So it is reachable, it's doable, but that's not a fit-worthy reachable for a man. On his behalf, the metal has reached. That's okay. But it is of no immediate consequence for me. as a man. As a matter of fact, as of what is it that I need to do, what is it that I have to acquire. From that perspective, so the reachability should be coupled with doability. Sri Krishna here says it is reachable because he's going to say, I may be jumping the gun right now. He says, I am the nearest of the nearest. There is no person who is nearer than you than this Atma, being addressed as Sri Krishna here, or Sri Ramachandra, or Devi, whichever name you want to take, you can take. Here, name is not an issue at all for us. So he is the nearest of the nearest. So it is indeed reachable. It's not the dark side of the moon or Mars. So it is indeed reachable by all of us. The next question is it doable? Of course, it is doable. The entire doability is what is being discussed here. The entire Sri Krishna's Gita Upakhyanam is all about the doability. Its pertinence, its immediacy. The reason being, the moment we get that knowledge, the rest of the knowledge becomes easily, they call it assailable, they say. Assailable means you can easily negotiate that. So here, one type of knowledge, which is the Kshetrajna, the Supreme Spirit which is indwelling us, even though these scriptures, they draw a major focus onto that. Why there is a major focus onto that? Why do you think there is a heavy, whenever we read the scriptures, say Bhagavad Gita, or even for instance the many Upagranthas, namely Viveka Chudamani, or you will take Upadesha Sahasri, or all these spiritual texts. There is a lot more focus on attaining the Supreme Atman within. They keep on harping on that. Why? True. It is true. It is true. That's again true.
That is the ultimate truth.
That is the ultimate truth. That is true. Again true. Some more. Here, see, in the context of the shloka, Kshetra Jnanam, Kshetrajna Jnanam.
That is your own truth.
Kshetra Jnanam, scripture does not have to tell me. I don't require a scripture to tell me I have to wake up in the morning and brush my teeth. I don't require scripture to tell me that I'll have to take 2 times bath every day, or once I should take bath every day. I don't require scriptures to tell me. I don't require that to tell me that I should take food when I am hungry. Or I should have a good roof above me for peaceful living. Or I should be engaged in secular labor to protect my family. I don't require scriptures to tell all these things because it is natural for us. What is natural for me, why do I require a book to tell me? The book needs to tell you something which we are ignoring, which we have not paid attention, and which is equally important. While we know, we tumble, of course we learn, we evolve. While we know, in this limited context, I say that we know how to live in this world, while we have mastered these techniques, and the scriptures have said nothing about it, while we have done that, scripture only tells that while you are doing this, why you have ignored the other knowledge. So I will tell you, scripture takes that responsibility upon itself, like a mother. It says it takes the responsibility and then tells the student that while you are engaged in all this, Don't forget that this fellow is there. Don't forget that this fellow is there. Who is this fellow? The Atma. It is only going to enrich your experience with the world. It's not going to diminish that experience. So much so that scripture goes to the extent of putting that as a prerogative. That unless you know the Atman within, the Kshetrajna within, unless we know that, you are not going to enjoy the world the way it should be enjoyed. You know the tea tasters, coffee tasters, right? They will not eat anything and everything. Their taste buds are insured, in fact, for that matter. So these people, they take the finest of drinks and then they give their statement of appreciation. So they know they have refined their experience in a manner that they can clearly tell the difference between 19 and 20 categories of coffee and tea. Even 1 point difference, they will be able to tell this is better, this is not better. How come? How is it they are able to do that? It is the power. It is the power of the Atma manifested through one faculty. A man is able to speak well, it is the same power. A man is able to have a long distance vision, it is the same power. A man is extremely strong, he runs a marathon, 100 kilometer marathon, it is the same power it is manifesting. Yajyat vibhuti matsattvam Srimad urjit tat tadeva avagachatvam mama teja amsha sambhavam. It is my own power which is manifesting through all these things. A person gets a Nobel Prize. There is a person who got Nobel Prize twice, you know. Who is this? Yeah, one and only, I guess. And 2 different fields.
Curie and Linus Pauling.
Pauly also got, huh?
Linus Pauling also got prize.
Okay.
One from the chemical world, the other one from the business.
Good. So these are all remarkable demonstration of highest acumen. So and then Sri Krishna says that's a particle of the glory coming out of me. Just a particle of glory. It doesn't mean to say that is less, but the shloka emphasizes the fact that it is that supreme being who is sitting inside. That is what is manifesting as glory. In a dark room, when we are searching for certain things, something which we have lost, several things we have kept in the dark room and we are searching, now and then we get hold of certain things. And we say, yeah, we have got it. There are a lot of riches in the room. But our scriptures say, why collect all these objects grouping in the dark? Switch on the light. All the things are available for you. The entire lot of riches which are strewn in the room are available for you. Immediate access. You just need to switch on the light. Why are you in a hurry? No. I need it instantly. I need it immediately. Okay, Baba, find there is a switch there. You switch it on. And then walk across the room, you will find your golden casket, which is what you are looking for. No, I want immediately. Then what to tell to this guy? Nothing can be told about it. Okay, get yourself hurt because there are chairs and there are blockades and many inhibitors which he has to carefully negotiate before he arrives at the golden casket. But then he will be hitting himself hard against all those hard objects and then bruising his limbs and breaking the bones, maybe sitting down. I say, I told you not, don't hurry up, switch on the light and go. Why you? No, see, I have already come this far. Anyway, let me find this go and then. So compromise. So much compromise he is doing. So the scripture comes and says that switch on that light first. Know that there is a light within. And with that light, you can see there is a beautiful conversation between Janaka and Yajnavalkya, which is coming in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Say, Yajnavalkya asks, how is it that the man sees this world? He says, through the light of the sun. Yeah, true. If sun goes away, then light of the moon. Fantastic. What about the new moon day? Then he says he can use fire, the physical fire. He says, well, there is no fire at all. Then he says you can use sound. With sound you can know the direction and then you can do something. Sound is also not there. What will you do now? Don't worry, your Atma is there. He says, use the light of the Atma. See, the conversation actually mixes up physical world and the spiritual world. But actually the entire thing is a very, very psychophysical phenomenon that is being described. I'm not getting into that. It's very interesting because the sun, the moon, the fire, the sound, they're all various nadis within our own constitution. So we function because these nadis are functioning. If these nadis they don't function, we'll be paralyzed. These are all truths according to Nadi Shastra. But then all these nadis, they get power from where? They require some energy, right? So they get the power from the Atma. That's what Yajnavalkya says to Janaka Rishi. So the point here is the groping in the dark. All of us are running after things groping in the dark. He says, therefore, you should know about the Kshetra. Kshetra, knowing about the Kshetra is knowing about its powers, its limitations, and know about the Kshetrajna, his powers and his vastness, its distinctness, and so on. So know both of them. Having both the knowledge is what is called having knowledge. Not the world only or not the spiritual only. You should have the knowledge of both. It's a wonderful idea. So it's it's very easy to understand.
For example, in this statement, the knowledge of the field is the knower of the field, but both of them don't seem to be the same.
Knowledge of the field and knowledge of the knower of the field. See, our basically the objective knowledge and the subjective knowledge. Objective knowledge is you have the knowledge, but you don't connect yourself with it. I see the glass here. This knowledge is an objective knowledge. I don't change just because I had this knowledge of the glass. Subjective knowledge is, I ask this question, who is seeing this glass? Who is getting the knowledge of this glass? Cognizer. That is subjective knowledge. So now we should have the objective knowledge as well as the subjective knowledge. So about the body mind. See, body mind. When we say body mind, it is sufficient. It is a sufficient representative of the entire creation. See, if I say that I am going to gift you a car, what do? I hand over the papers and I give you the key. Do I lift the car and give you? We don't do that. So you give the samples, and with the samples you know what to do with the rest. So the body and mind is such a sample in its farthest generalization, it becomes the whole world, whole creation. Because I can always ask this question that the house that you live in, the car that you drive, the food that you eat, where do they exist? Where do they exist? It exists in your mind, in your memory. It exists in your experience. Call a person who is suffering from dementia. He would have eaten, but he would have forgotten that he has eaten. He says, I am not eaten. Because it has gone out of his experience.
But it's still in his body.
He has not, for him it is not there. You see, you cannot objectify. You will have to see. Because you are going to discover yourself. You see, whenever you try to analyze the world and the individual, you will have to analyze from your perspective. You cannot shift this frame of reference. The moment I shift the frame of reference, suppose, no, you are seeing that I have eaten. Now that you is also in my mind only. I should experience that. There's no point in you experiencing that I have food. I should experience that I have got the food. I have eaten food. Till I do that, I'll be eating. I'll be continuously eating and I'll be hurting myself. So, this body and the mind that I have got is sufficient enough for me to generalize the whole world. The entire creation is contained only within this. For me. For you it is different. For me it is this. For you again, it is your own body, your own mind and your own generalization. The conclusion here is, when we say objective world, do I talk about the world and its creation, or is it sufficient for me to restrict the study of body and mind? Kshetra is the field. The field is the entire universe is the field. Now, you say Kshetrajna, you should know, he says, na? You should know the Kshetra. You should know the Kshetrajna. My opinion is knowledge of the field and knower of the field. Now, what is the field here? Field is the universe. Then should I have to know everything about the universe? That is impossible. Correct? Now, so what is Krishna coming to tell here in this case? My body and mind is a representative of this entire universe. My own body, my own mind, and a few other things which Krishna is going to enumerate now. That itself is a what he called as a classical, and they say representative is a weaker term. I will say it is the world in its seed form in me. The entire world in its seed form is my body, mind, and intellect. So when I say, when this says Kshetrajna, so he says that know about your body and mind. So when you know about your body and mind, that knowledge about the body and mind is necessary, as well as knowledge about your own, the other half, which is the self, that is also necessary. So when we say the knowledge of the body and mind, in the mind exist all these objects. Various objects are existing only in my mind. As far as I am concerned, now I have isolated from everything. I am now an individual. Me and my own experience, my own mandate for the existence. It's my mandate that matters. How much ever you tell the demented fellow, he is not going to accept your idea. To him, it is he has not eaten. But you go and tell him, no, you have eaten, he is not going to accept that. So the thing is, the body and the mind is the Kshetra which Sri Krishna is referring to, because the moment you understand this body and mind, you can extend this understanding to the whole world.
Knowledge is like knowledge of the field means we should know about our body and mind and knower. Then who is knower here? Knower is Sri Krishna.
That's a very good question. See, knower cannot be located here. It is hypothesized. The knower is hypothesized, because in the sleep I don't know who the I is, but the I has existed there. Correct? The I has existed here, and the I goes with the name Atma. I goes with the name Brahman. I goes with an English name called soul, the self. I goes with the name with the physical form names like Krishna, Rama, Shiva, Brahma, Devi. These are all physical names that we give. So various names are there for this I. But essentially it tells that it is of a divine origin. What is the definition of divinity here? The definition of divinity is whatever restriction that the world has, none of these restrictions are applicable to the I. What is the first and foremost restriction this world has? It is limited. The objects in the world are limited, but the I is unlimited. The objects in the world can only give you a delta amount of joy. but that can give you infinite amount of joy. The objects in the world are constrained by the knowledge that it can give you. Every object has only a little amount of knowledge that it can give you, but the self has got infinite knowledge. So what is happening is, it is like in mathematics they say, na, you have got a limit n tends to infinity. What is it called as? Asymptotes. Asymptote, correct. So the world is having an asymptotic relationship with his Atma. It is always ahead. Atma is always ahead of the world. Atma is always ahead of the world. Now, the question here is, now how do you get to Atma? Where do you locate this Atma? I mean, these are all the exercises which Sri Krishna will tell shortly. We have been seeing this for quite some time, and he will re-emphasize it. So now what is this? What is the Kshetra? The Kshetra here goes with the five great elements, the Mahabhutas, the Pancha Mahabhutas are there. Correct? What are the Akasha is one Bhuta, Tattva. Then Vayu, Akasha Vayu, Vayu or Agnihi, Agner Apaha, water, Adya Prithvi, Prithvi is the matter, the material matter, hard. So these are five Bhutas. And then he says Ahankar, the ego. See, this Ahankara is such a. Can you actually describe space? Space is one of the elements which is always described in relation to something else. We cannot absolutely describe space. You can describe water, you can describe fire, you can describe air, but you cannot describe space. Space is always known the moment you bring an object into it. You say that we recognize the space when an object comes into picture. That much amount of space this object occupies. Space is the most, Akasha Tattva is the most subtlest of all the Tattvas. But still, it is not superior to Atma. It is also a dead matter. So the five great elements, and then Ahankara. Ahankara is the sense of I. Question here is, see, God has created this world, or somehow it has come to existence. How did the I come to existence? What is this notion of I? See, these are very fundamental questions, which our Shastra says that there is one specific Tattva called Ahankara Tattva. It is because of that Tattva only we feel the sense of I-ness. It's okay. So you give a name. If you can't explain in English or in any investigation, one easy way to escape from an imminent obstacle is give a name. Once you give it a name, you know that you have known something about it. So this little thing which says that, which gives a sense of I-ness, now okay, call it ego, call it Ahankara. In fact, the Ahankara itself word says that it says the person who is having the sense of I. It is that by whose presence you get the sense of I. So you have given a very indirect name to it again. Is space good or bad? Likewise, Ahankara also we cannot say. Space is neutral. Ahankara is also neutral. Ahankara in its purest form is neutral. But then space, for instance, the prison wall, prison walls are good or bad? Prison walls depends. For a warden it is not, but for the prisoner it is. Hmm? Okay, what about quicksand? There you cannot say, depends. Anybody who goes to quicksand is getting sucked in. Correct? Burning fire. Is it good or bad? Very bad. So, but that has a space. That space where there is fire is engulfing that space is no bad. It's not fit for our existence. So when it is attached with something, upadhis they call it, adjuncts, limiting adjuncts, then it gets the quality of good and bad. So ego also likewise, ego is neither good nor bad, but then if it is attached with some other qualities, the ego of a thief, and the ego of a policeman, the ego of a sannyasi, the ego of a scientist, the ego of a doctor, each of them have got its acceptability and rejectability. Correct? So that they all come because of the associations. Intellect, buddhi, that is yet another component which contributes to the kshetra. Then the unmanifested state. Unmanifested state is the state from where all these things have come. Avyakta, buddhi comes from avyakta, ego comes from the buddhi, and then 5 elements subsequently. The 10 sense organs. 10 sense organs, 5 sense organs with which we work, and 5 sense organs with which we come to know. Karmendriya, Jnanendriyas. So you will get 10 there. And then you have mind. That is yet another contribution to kshetra. And then we have got the 5 objects of senses. So essentially, these are 24 cosmic elements, which Sankhya philosophy says, the entire world, finally, if you want to put them as a chart, you can say that you can put in one of those cells. You can easily pigeonhole the entire creation into these 24 elements.
What are the other five organs other than Jnanendriya?
Karmendriya.
What are they?
Pada, Payu, Upastha, Grahana, and Shabda. This is Karmendriya, you can speak. You can, this is Jnana. Sorry. Karmendriya is Pada, Payu, Upastha, Vak. Vak also karma, you speak. Vak, Pada, Pani, Payu, Upastha. Vak, Pada, Pani, Payu, Upastha. Vak, Pada, Pani, Payu, Upastha.
These are actually like
Karmendriyas.
complementary organs of the Jnanendriya.
No, complementary. They are all supplementary.
Supplement.
Different, completely different. So with organs we work, correct? And with organs you get knowledge. See, we don't say I works. We don't say I is working. We say I is knowing things. Through I we know things. Knowledge is outside karma. If you come to know something, then you don't say that you worked. You say that you know. Smell. Smelling is not a work. Smelling reveals you the nature of the smell, the nature of the object through smell. So it is knowledge. Hearing. Some sound gets into and then you are able to decipher the signals, and then you get to know the sound, know the content of the sound. So this is yet another organ of knowledge. So 5 organs of knowledge and 5 organs of action. All actions will have a result. So when I say something, it has a result of speech being produced. Hand is moving, you can clearly see. Things are produced out of this.
So, Maharaj, when we talk about the gustatory sense and saying something, so in both, for both tongue works, but for one sense it is working as the Jnanendriya, and for the other sense it is working as the Karmendriya.
This is the only object which has both.
That's why I asked.
That is the reason why yoga says, yoga's first prescription is control your tongue. Because it is involving in both Jnanendriya as well as Karmendriya.
That's why I asked if it is complementary. But the other four elements are.
Other four elements are distinct. And then the seven modifications, seven mental these are all mental modifications. See, desire. The reason why this 24 and 7 are given each other is because of two different philosophies. The Sankhya philosophy and the Vaisheshika philosophy. In Vaisheshika philosophy, desire, aversion, pleasure, these are all tattvas. They have got, tattva means, they have got objective existence. That means you can add that much into you and then produce desire. You can add something into you and then produce aversion. Tattvas has got this particular, it is an entity by itself. Tattvas. So according to Vaisheshika, this desire is a tattva. Aversion, pleasure, pain. So Krishna, what he says is, call it Vaisheshika, call it, but they are there. We have the sense of desire. We have the sense of aversion. Whether you give a separate independent status to that, or you say that it is just a mental modification. However, it is there. We experience it. The entire field only consists of these things. 24 plus 7. And then comes the knowledge part. That, see, if you want to know something, there are certain disciplines which we need to abide by or adopt, by which we can get the knowledge. So what are the disciplines? Humility, unpretentiousness, non-injury, forbearance, sincerity, service to teacher, cleanliness, steadiness and control of body and organs. Here, stairyam, you see, stairyam is a very important point. Steadiness. Quite often we see in classrooms, I don't know whether it happens in IIT, but it very much happens in our college. Students, they are very fidgety with their limbs, continuously shaking, sitting, like this they will do, and then this one, and this one. They are engaged in one or the other. If one thing stops, the other thing starts. If nothing happens, then at least they will do like this. Continuously, how many times I have told these guys, don't do that. It is not, you are telling the world that you are not thinking. See, when you are doing like this, at this moment, your entire mind is doing this. Mind is a very fast instrument, It quickly jumps in and jumps out. So if you are doing continuously, that means what? Most of the time it is here doing this only. That means it is not actually doing the thinking work.
Really not doing 100%.
It's not 100%, not fully doing. But in the class you are supposed to sit there and then do thinking. That is not happening at all.
I think some people say that it is more of involuntary.
No, involuntary, agreed. I'm not denying that. But whose energy? If it is father's energy, no problem.
I do suffer from this. Like if I am thinking, my leg will shake. But how do I stop?
No. That means at that moment your brain is not actually not thinking. You are not thinking then. You are doing that particular work. So they say that stairyam, steadiness is actually a very, very important thing. Atma vinigraha, controlling of the body and organs. Also, it actually controlling. Atma vinigraha, I would say rather controlling the mind. But here, body and organs has been translated. It's okay. Because Atma has got a variety of connotations. You just have to be conscious of it. Since you are doing it voluntarily, involuntarily, that means you are not conscious of it. So put your consciousness in that. Then it will stop.
I mean, because this has happened to me so many times. Like when I'm sitting with my family, they're thinking something. So I'm thinking, okay, we will do this up like that. And suddenly, out of the blue, my mother will shout, like, Padulash, like, don't shake your leg.
Correct.
out of the blue. Like we focus.
Then only then you will understand, realize that you are actually doing that. So that means lot of energy gets shunted. You will be lot better if you can control those. It will be lot, because the entire quantum of energy is now saved. See, what you say voluntary, it's not actually voluntary. Voluntary, involuntary. Mind is so fast that it does the job in a manner where you don't require special attention to it. But it is the mind which is actually doing the job. See, if mind is withdrawn from your hand, suppose mind is withdrawn from the hand, this hand cannot move, it will be paralyzed. So what mind does is, mind is going and enriching all your organs every moment to make you feel that it is there, it is there, it is there, it is there, it is there. It is there. Mind is the fastest instrument. There is no doubt about it. But then it's already doing that. And on top of that, you start this. Then available energy is also lost. Indriyartheshu vairagyam. There is a very popular idea. Sri Krishna bangs on this idea of vairagya. Vairagya here means that enjoy the rasagullas, but don't lose yourself. Don't go gaga over enjoying rasagullas. Rasagullas, after all, rasagullas. So what's great about it? It's okay, you enjoyed it, but I cannot lose myself over it. So vairagya to that extent. And anabhishvangaha, absence of fondness with regards to sons, wives and homes. You see, here should be understood properly. Krishna is not saying that you should run away from them or you should lose love for them. He says fondness, anabhishvangaha. Anabhishvangaha actually means the inordinate. Inordinate affection is abhishvangaha. Abhi word is used. So abhi means abhitaha word means all round. Graham abhitaha jalamasti. We say it's all round, you have water. So abhi means that you have inordinate affection and inordinate connection with the one's own. Even if it be one's own, it is not given to you to lose yourself. That's a reminder for us. See, you can understand the context in which he is giving. Arjuna is going to fight a war, and he has to fight the war against his own near and dear ones. So, near and dear ones, in our family domestic context, there are no boundaries. There are absolutely no boundaries. But because of that, what happens? We forget our own selves, and then our identity is getting mingled with the community. It's all good. Can you extricate yourself from that? Cannot. It is for the same reason the doctor is unable to operate his own family member. When he is able to do it so peacefully with another man, he is unable to show his skill. He may be the topmost surgeon. Whole world is now coming after him. But the unfortunate thing is he cannot operate on his own people. He becomes powerless. Why? Abhishvangaha. If only he had that wisdom to extricate himself from that, from his able to have an identity separate from that, then he will not have the problem. Putra dara grihadishu. Nityam cha, we will stop with this. Nityam cha samachittatvam ishta anishta upapattishu. The equanimity, EQ is missing in that. Constant equanimity of the mind with regard to the attainment of the desirable and undesirable. So what he says is, the body and mind should be known. Agreed. That means this body and mind with its all paraphernalia, with whatever immediate surroundings of the body and mind, we will know about it. Certainly we are already engaging in it. But if you want to do a clean job in this, I want to do my studies clean way, I want to do my profession in a clean manner, then spending your energy only there is not going to help. You need to have a discipline. That discipline is what he says here. These 3 shlokas, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, up to 11. Etat jnanam iti proktam. You see, until these four passages are talking about the disciplines that we need to acquire in order to get the knowledge of the kshetra. You see, are we really following this? Are we really having this? If you carefully look at it, see, these are all not empty words. They are all words coming from a person, whomever you call him as, from a very high state of spiritual realization. Just now I was telling. They are coming from the state of the mind which is of highest realization. And in that mind, there is no poison. In that mind, there is no bias. In that mind is actually swept with compassion and love, full of knowledge. There is not a spot of ignorance in that. And out of that comes this narration. Every word is nectarine. And it is like a fruit taken out, peels all removed, seeds all removed, pulp is not given. The pulp is squeezed and then the juice is given. Pulp also you need to chew a bit. Even that effort he is not allowing us to. He gives the juice itself, apparently, in the manner that he has enumerated clearly that you want to live in the world, have this training. Then you will have the best of the world. Otherwise, it will be groping in the dark and then getting yourself hurt at every sharp corners.
Explain verse 8.
Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Indriyartheshu, indriyartha. Artha means object, indriyartha means objects of the senses. Rasagulla. Now Rasagulla comes, particularly good Rasagulla. Now winter is approaching. Good Rasagulla is a very, very delicacy. Now when it comes, I lose myself in that. Fantastic. You cannot get a sweet better than this. Okay, you prepare your mind to take the first bite. Because you want to get the highest amount of joyful experience in enjoying this sweet. Now that means what? I am now preparing myself to lose myself in this object. Now I will do it once, twice. Then it becomes a habit. In every object I will lose myself. So he says, have a vairagya. Have a vairagya means check. Don't allow the mind to flood the sense objects with its feelings. Check, put a dam, have as much, don't exaggerate, and enjoy as much as that object is giving you. Indriyartheshu vairagyam. Anahankara. Anahankara means don't be egoistic. The reason why both of them are given, Indriyartheshu vairagyam, the reason is, now Indriyartha means the sense objects. Who is enjoying? The individual. Correct. You guys enjoying, correct. What he says, right? Partially. But through senses. What if the senses go bad? Go bad. They go bad, right? They don't, they wane away. The power of the senses, they wane away. How much can the taste buds doesn't serve you for long. So what he says is, so this is something which is fragile. Next thing is ahankara. What is ahankara? That is also very fragile. He asked this question, who is this I? So actually, strictly speaking, if you dig into your own self and try to find ahankara, you will never be able to find it. It's like an onion peel. Our seniors, the spiritual genius people have given us this wonderful example of onion peels. Keep on peeling. Do you find any core in it? What you have peeled and thrown away is the same thing which is present inside. Ultimately, you have to throw that also. Finally, you end up with nothing. Finally, so ego is like that. You try. You say, is the body ego? No, no. Is the mind ego? No, no. Is the buddhi ego? No, no. Is the feelings ego? No, no. You go because there is something subtler. The subtler keeps on getting revealed, and finally you find the ego is not there. But fictitiously, that seems to be present in our waking state. Manifestation of egoism is there, but the ego object itself is not there. Then who is manifesting? God only knows. So that way, says that since the object is not there, why are you holding on to it? Indriya, impermanent. Yeah, at least it is there. Impermanent. Ego is not there at all. It is impermanent in the sense of it decays.
So the next line is Janma Mrityu Jara Bhati.
Dukkha dosha anudarshanam. So then he says ahankara is not. Janma means birth. Mrityu means death. Jara means old age. Yadhi means getting diseased. And then dukkha. Dukkha is suffering. Now there is Acharya Shankara, nicely you pointed out. Acharya Shankara gives two interpretations to this word. He attaches this dukkha to all the before. Janma dukkha, mrityu dukkha, jara dukkha, vyadi dukkha. He says, then that kind of a dukkha, therefore you see it with all, since all of them are giving dukkha, so you look upon that as a dosha and reject it. Don't dosha, look at it as a dosha anudarshanam. Look upon those dukkha. You cannot embrace dukkha. You don't want to embrace dukkha. So that means what you will reject. So what is it that you reject? You reject which are faulty. So look at the fault. What is the fault that you need to look at in Janma? It is dukkha. Is any man who is born happy? Never. For anybody who go and ask, we find that no. In our family, I myself am going through a lot of suffering. No, children are going through depression. People are saying that children are depressed and children are stressed. It is an improper use of word. But nevertheless, we have given ourselves the luxury to use such a term for children. What has come upon us? So another fictitious layers of perceptions we are creating. Over and top of the other, we have not even solved the basic problem. We have created more fictitious problems. Anyway, so that is one thing. Okay. Other thing is Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Dosha. That is, he says this, Dukkha is separate. So Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, and then Dukkha. You see dosha in it. You see dosha in dukkha, you see dosha in vyadi, you see dosha in mrityu, you see dosha in janma.
So that you can denunciate easily.
Naturally, we will not take it. No? Why is that we will embrace that? See, here,
Because we hold on to these things so much.
we will not lose ourselves in that. Losing ourselves is something which is very, very important. What is when we losing yourselves? Very easily it can be explained. Suppose you are watching a movie. You're watching a movie. You become one of those characters. You laugh with the laughter, you sorrow with the sorrow. Correct? Na? Is that you? That is losing yourself.
Identifying with you.
That is completely misplaced identity. So in Janma, we have such a misplaced identity. In Mrityu also, we have such a misplaced identity.
Samadhi is also losing yourself.
But after the Samadhi, true, agreed. After you watch the movie and come back, then would you ever think of you being part of that? You will give no commentary, you will no critic that. But after that, you will never think. But in Samadhi, after coming down, you know that you are that self. Not the self which went before Samadhi. You are that self which went into Samadhi. There you are getting the real identity. You are being exposed to the real identity.
Maybe the no one
the knower. The Kshetrajna you are coming to know. That is what is actually holding the Samadhi. How much ever I would have enjoyed the movie. After coming down, after the movie ends, I come to the reality. And I resume the journey with my earlier assumed identity. But in the case of a man who goes to Samadhi and comes back, his earlier identity is now bundled out. He walks with the new identity. So that means what? The earlier identity was incorrect.
So we can be in Samadhi in our day-to-day life, or we should adopt a particular way of living.
True. See, one thing, you saw this sloka, right? This particular sloka, Kshetrajnam Chapi. What is a Kshetrajna? These 24 cosmic elements and 7 mental elements. We understand that all these are external. Nothing, see, he is vitality you, he is consciousness, he is body aggregating. Consciousness here means the senses. If I prick you, you are getting some senses. Na? That is consciousness. And then is the pain you, is pleasure you, is aversion you, is desire you, is any of these things you? Would you ever reduce yourself to one of this? I will certainly not do. I will be doing myself a great disservice if I identify myself with any one of these things. No, here consciousness, according to these guys, are when I click, I click senses. Na? This is Vaisheshika consciousness. You will see here.
So a person in corporate life or in business can be in Samadhi.
No. So now this is Kshetra. This is Kshetra. Now he says that if you want to acquire the right, if you want to have the right knowledge of these things, you want to understand the 5 objects as 5 objects. You want to understand the mind as mind. You want to understand each one of these things as the respective, whatever they are. For that you need this discipline. For that itself you need this discipline. Samadhi is a distant cry. We are not even talking of Kshetrajna. Even the Kshetra's knowledge, the knowledge of the body, mind and this, if you want to have a proper knowledge, the right knowledge, then you must possess all these character qualities. Then you will get the right knowledge. You will not lose yourself amidst this chaotic elements.
Maharaj, there is one question from somebody online.
Yes?
So the question is, why do we complicate religion by talking about consciousness? Can you conclusively prove the existence of consciousness when Earth was molten mass?
Who is asking this question when Earth is molten mass? It is only a hypothesis, no? It is only a hypothesis. See, the question here is, I cannot ask a question about myself when I don't exist. See, the questions come after we come into existence. Prior to our existence, no questions can be asked. Suppose I say there was never a time when there was no molten mass. You also cannot prove that. No. Science may say many things. I have not. Show me a picture. Show me one experience where Earth was a molten mass. No, there was once upon a time Big Bang. They are all hypotheses. If you want to accept hypothesis, then why don't you accept this hypothesis? Ultimately, we are accepting some hypothesis. Accept something which will be very helpful to you in your present footing. And another thing is, see, we are not trying to belittle science. See, science does not have the ability to explore. Na? Beyond this, see, science is filled within the rational framework. The consciousness and the spirit is actually transcending the rational framework. That is the reason why we have to ask ourselves this question: what is this experience of I during sleep? In order to actually be very practical in trying to find answers to questions, we drive the practicality by asking ourselves this question: who is that I during sleep? That is a very the experience that we are having in the waking state, the experience that we are having in the dream state, that is not helping us to define the experience in the deep sleep state. You may put some machines and then no. You have been observed by so many oscilloscopes and so many MRI machines, and then a lot of people are also there. Drugs are there. All of them are monitoring you. So you exist. What has it got to do with me? I don't have that. See here, knowledge. Suppose you eat food. Will I get? Can I appease my hunger by you eating food? The question is, how do I appease my hunger? So how do I get the experience of me being present in the deep sleep? Do I have it? I don't have it. However, I infer this. Because I was earlier there and now I'm here, so I infer this I. So the Shastras are asking us to now explore and find this who this I is. And the supposition here is that the moment you get the knowledge of this I, you get the complete knowledge. Which is obvious because you have got the knowledge of the prior to the state of deep sleep, you have got the knowledge of the post deep sleep. Naturally, if you have the knowledge during the deep sleep, you have got the complete knowledge. Fire drill.
If there is no religion, the youth thinks material pursuits and hedonism as the only purpose of life. This is a disaster. Conquest of India system as the cornerstone of religion helps. Your thoughts, please.
What is the last sentence?
Conquest of Indriya system as the cornerstone of religion helps.
Yeah. So the Gita is all about conquering oneself against the call of the lesser impulses. The call of the lesser impulses makes us lead a fast life. See, all of us, my students come and tell me that the moment they start taking up looking at reels, shorts, initially they see slowly. I don't know whether you guys have experienced it. This my students have come and told me this. Initially they watch the reels slowly. Later on, the speed increases. Speed so much increases that they are unable to digest. They are unable to wait even to take what next. And at that time, the body heats up, and then the system gets into a hyper tension state. Unable to stop also. So now, do we have the wisdom? Do we have the strength to check ourselves? That even if I watch these shots, every shot I will watch fully. I will not swipe. I will watch fully. 2 minutes means 2 minutes. Sometimes 5 minutes also comes, it seems. So if I see, I will see fully. Mind wants to go to the next. So this is the problem with the Indriya. Indriya, it gives you, the what is called as the reward. The rewarding system in the brain has got a serious limitation. The serious limitation is the amount of dopamine that is created that gives the feeling of that which is a reward for a particular experience. That quantity, when it is generated the same amount, it doesn't give you the same joy. So you require more experience to create that much amount of dopamine. So if it boils down to secreting some chemicals for giving me joy, then what is the cost involved to secrete those chemicals? What is the effort involved in secreting those chemicals? Since the effort is more physical in nature, more it is organ centric, the organ has got a limitation. The organ gets tired. The organ gets tired for a simple reason. The first bite of the rasagulla in the tongue, I get the fresh juice of the that good, the khejur good, the date palms. But then the 10th bite, I don't get the same experience. The reason is my taste buds are already got biased. So I will have to bang in more strong and more concentrated juice to produce the same effect. But by then the taste buds they start bleeding, because it cannot contain more concentrations of those sugars. But earlier, small concentration itself gave me the joy of enjoying a sweet. But later on means in the same sitting, taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th, 7th and all, I'll have to take more, and the concentration has to be more. But then my tongue loses its ability to give me the joy. So it is because of the limitation in the organ, we are not getting the same. So indriyas are the organs. So when we a priori know that the organs have got its limited powers, then why should I invest all my expectation and hope in seeking joy only from the indriyas? It says that work with your indriyas, but don't become a slave to the indriya. Don't think the joy can come only from indriya, and don't invest all your energy only in those senses. So for that you require training. It doesn't come, the Yuddha Kale Shastra Abhyasa cannot happen. And they say, when your eyes are already damaged, that time doing Surya Namaskar is not going to help. You should have done Surya Namaskar right from childhood so that your health of the eye is prolonged. So before we lose control on the senses, let us train the senses to enjoy the world in a better way. So these disciplines that are given the shloka 7 to 11, 9 to 11, they have wonderful prescriptions, and it is all not meant to be of a professing kind. These are all advanced counseling. They are not professing. Professing is a podium talk. Right? These are advanced counseling, coming directly from the person who knows the truth. So if we abide by it, the more we abide by these prescriptions, the better we will feel ourselves grounded, well steady, well under control. See, objective of science, why they say knowledge is power. I've heard this sentence right from my growing days. Knowledge is power. So I used to read newspaper reading, and you'll get knowledge. So I started reading. Then I got bored with reading newspapers. I threw away. And then what? Then how to get knowledge? During childhood, I used to think like this. But now I see the same sentence, knowledge is power, is giving me an entirely new dimension of understanding. So what is actually the sense of power and knowledge? The power to control. The moment you know that nuclear fission, nucleus has got so much energy, and then you can do the fission experiment and then get energy, then you are able to control that. Control means what? Control that nature and then get that energy. Otherwise, it is just a lump of some substance. And then you are exercising your control on that this moment, this nucleus is going to go through a fission reaction. I am controlling that now. I decide whether this nucleus is going to stay united or broken. I am able to exercise control. And this is power, because you are deriving so much of power out of it. So unless you are a master and a controller of circumstances, you have no power with you. That means whatever knowledge you have got is no knowledge. The knowledge in which I am not able to control my own self, what kind of a knowledge I can seek from the world? This is all these practices. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and many more.
Like we have to keep on repeating in our mind these.
No, he says that, you see. Here he says, be humble, amanitvam, humility. Don't take you don't give the lower self such a high importance. Damba, don't be unpretentious. Unpretentious means don't be too proud. Don't be too proud of yourself. Ahimsa, never cause injury to others. Injury through words, injury through actions, injury through your even attitudes. Then Acharya Shanti, we are forbearing a bit. We require some amount of forbearance. Arjavam means straightforwardness. We should never have a crooked thinking. So like that, many character qualities are given. When we do this, what happens is you are preparing your the body mind complex, body mind buddhi ahankara complex. that becomes a fit instrument. Such a body, such a being becomes a fit instrument to know the Kshetrajna, the indwelling self.
But like in today's world in which we are living, these all terms which you said is okay, but then the person living with them, it becomes difficult for him to survive like here.
No, how have you tried this? Have you tried this and then seen its futility, or are you hypothesizing?
No, I have seen and I have felt also like when we try to become humble and like we will not hurt anyone in like not intentionally, but we will think about people many times. Then we will many times feel that we are getting used by others, like by the world. So how to separate these things, like how to have a boundary, like okay, out of this boundary, I will not tolerate things. Like you are saying, be humble, be non-injury, and all.
See, the question here is, the moment you say that you are going to practice humility, that very moment you are not going to bring in 100%. You cannot bring. Your old self is going to drag you back. You try that. You cannot. You cannot have the true feeling of humility with others. You cannot have the true feeling of non-injury with others. We are, by the habits that we have created in the past, it is going to take the way it is going. Now you will have to bring in the idea that the instances where you have lost your humility, that time you have to remember that array, humility is a virtue. The places where you have actually caused injury, that time you have to understand, array, non-injury is a virtue. The places where I have lost myself in the lofty thoughts of my own pride, that time I have to remind myself that pride is a virtue. Pride is not a virtue here. You have to act on at those times when the contrary comes and pulls you down. It is not that you are always forcing yourself as humble. You are not giving yourself an opportunity to be the otherwise. These qualities, they shine in contrast with its negatives. What is that quality within me that I need to develop so that this particular moment when I am supposed to be humble, I am not humble. So that humility you have to acquire. It is, man is a wise person.
So he can't be humble during war. He had to attack. He can't be non-injurious during war. So it depends on situation.
See, here humble, you are taking it from an objective standpoint. That in comparison with another man. There is no comparison with another man here at all. Humility here simply says, you give the due recognition. If you start giving due recognition, humility will always come. A person, what is that character quality within you that makes you give the due recognition? Can you abstract yourself? See, it's not a very easy thing to acquire. In my opinion, it's not a very easy thing to acquire. Humility is a very, very difficult character quality. See, with an enemy, if I have to fight, I have to fight. Non-injury will also not apply. But that is the dharma. A warrior has made himself to fight. There he cannot say that I cannot fight. So for him, it becomes a dharma. It becomes his, what is called as the duty. A man who is supposed, a warrior, a soldier who is supposed to guard the boundary, there he cannot be forgiving in this sense of, in this lesser understanding of non-injury, he cannot, because imagine the amount of injury he will cause otherwise by leaving these guys take a raid over him. Simple. If the border is compromised in the name of non-injury, which happened in Sindur. Sindur was a clear extent of border not being guarded properly. It was Sindur, Operation Sindur was a total failure of our security system. It was not that we were all awake and then they hoodwinked us.
Pahalgam was our failure.
Pahalgam, sorry. No, not the Operation Sindur. Operation Sindur was the rebuttal. The Pahalgam incident was because naturally we didn't have the post guarded. I'm not getting into the cause of it. So that means, and see the amount of injury that has caused. So they are in the sense of a case where when I find that an injury is being caused by me, by my action, then that action is to be avoided. So if we have got a wonderful list of all these things, and we have come quite way into 13. I wish we had a stronger audience in our earlier chapters, where the preparation has been already made for the ideas that are given here to be seen in a proper light. See, Putra Dara Griha Dishu Anabhishvanga. How if Krishna is asking me not to love my people, it's not correct. He will never say don't love your people. He says love everyone. Now, on the contrary, he is the one who will say love everyone. So, in that everyone, my own family members are involved. So, how this should be understood? It has got a context. So, we will continue with later on with this the 12th verse of the Gita. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Acha, was it tracking or the mic went away far? It's okay.